Alrighty, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny, aka 𝘊𝘶𝘳𝘯𝘵, and as you can kind of see, I'm in a different environment. I'm filming in my hotel room. It's drill weekend, and I already made like an army video, which was kind of like a basic Saturday type of thing. And I'm like, I didn't feel like filming another one for this weekend because it was just a 2-day. I knew it was gonna be boring, so I was like, I still wanted to bring my camera. So today I'm going to be talking about how I became a dialysis technician, or a technical or clinical dialysis technician with no experience, and just kind of a little bit of my past work experience, like my background, kind of where I'm coming from. I did do a video like this, but of a sterile processing tech. I'll put it up above if you're still interested. I haven't had that job in about 2 years, but it still gets a lot of traction, which I'm glad it still does, but it's just really irrelevant to actually what I'm doing right now or what I have been doing. So just starting off, I transferred schools back in December, January, and I was looking for jobs. I actually got this job, like I accepted this job in January. I had my interview in December through Microsoft Teams, and it took about almost 4-ish weeks, because I remember I was panicking. Like, I'm home, I'm on winter break's almost done. I'm like, I have no job. So I did get an acceptance or an offer to it. I am working at a hospital, but where I'm kind of working at is in a different building than the hospital. So by later this year, it's going to be transferring. We're going to be transferring to the main hospital, but as of right now, we're in a different building, still underneath the same company, but just in a different building. This kind of how the interview process, or like I know how this company is because I used to work there, and just kind of I know how they do stuff when it comes to interviews. So I make sure I do really good on the questions, because it's a lot of more like, how do you react to this, or tell me about a time, like those kind of questions. So I always make sure I do good. But I remember from this interview that I was like struggling for a bit. I think also that day I was like super off, but I was like, I remember struggling for a bit. This looks crazy, but who cares? Oh my god. And then they kind of asked me about like, what do you know about dialysis? Have you heard about it? Or like just kind of like my background on it. And I literally told them, let me make sure it looks good. Yeah. Like, other than watching a few TikTok and YouTube videos and Googling before the interview, I was like, I don't really know much of it other than the research I have done. But I also did mention in there that I was working in a different position in a different town near that town's or that hospital's dialysis unit. So there was times where I would go back there, ask the questions or ask the nurses just some questions like about the patients, and just because their ride was here, so I was kind of going back there. And so I think that part of the interview kind of made me look good, just because I did ask, or I did like do prior research. And then I also told them, I'm in the reserves. They asked about that. I kind of told them how that process is. And then I almost forgot, but I had 2 or 3 people interview me, like all in one. So then one of them asked, what, am I in school or not? And then I was like, yes, I am in school. So they were luckily able to accommodate to my school schedule, which only required Thursdays fully off. And then I also mentioned that, or they asked, what am I going for? And I just said I was going for radiology. And they asked about like, that's a full-time program, isn't it? I was like, I'm only doing the prereqs for it right now. So then I think that's another thing that also kind of made me look good, because I know that that hospital, they're really looking forward, they're really looking to like promote within. So I think they kind of saw that I was, going towards a medical career path, and also just like having my prior experience at that hospital but in a different city, I think also made me look good. And then that I waited just a few weeks, and then I got my job offer, and right now I'm in my 3rd month, or like 6 or 7, or starting my 7th week of orientation. And it's honestly a lot. Like, it is a lot of stuff, but I'm slowly getting the hang of things. I think the only thing that's like been taking me a while to almost like perfect is charting. And then I've been accessing like catheters from here since like my 3rd or 4th week, and I just started cannulating like fistulas, there we go. I just started accessing like fistulas on the patient's arms. I've done so far 2 fully accessed or cannulated patients, and that was honestly my biggest fear, was poking them, because if you don't know me, I do have just a slight fear of like, it's like a mixture of like blood and needles, and I am surprised I did not faint when I'm like, okay, I got the job, but I was like, how am I going to overcome my fear of this? And since then, there was only one time, and I think it was on my 2nd day, and it was one of my preceptor, she was like taking out the needle, and I did ask, I'm like, can I go sit in the back, drink some water? Because I literally felt lightheaded, like I get that sensation right before I'm going to faint. But since then, I have not had that feeling, and just slowly becoming more comfortable with all that, because you're dealing with the patient's blood, you're dealing with that bodily fluid, you're dealing, so it's like a lot of stuff. So I'm surprised I was able to overcome that kind of fear that I've always had. Like, I literally fainted in January when I had to get my blood drawn. But I think that's about it. And then just kind of like my personal background, my work background. So healthcare wise, I'm just gonna stay in the healthcare region. So I've worked as a general service type of person, a door attendant. I've worked as a PCA, as a medical assistant. I did that anesthesia assistant / sterile processing tech, and I worked I worked at a nursing home as a nursing assistant for about a month, but I didn't put that on my application. So that's just some of my background on dialysis. I did also think this is a great background knowledge to have, especially as I'm going into radiology. I think it's just really good to be working in healthcare already, just so you have like a knowledge or a good background on just different types of things within like the hospital or clinic. And what else was I gonna say? I think other than that, that's all I really have to say about this. So far, I felt like the last time I worked was really rough, but there's been days where it feels really good. Just kind of how many patients we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis is up to 8 patients. It could be like 3 or 4 in the morning, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So it's not a lot, but it is a lot, especially in the beginning. It's really overwhelming. It's a lot to get used to the machines, to the process, and charting is a lot. So, but yeah, I think so far it's really going good. I have up to a year or like 14-15 months to get a certificate, and with that, the hospital will reimburse you up to 1 if if you take the national exam, they will reimburse you up to like just one, I think. And then if you don't decide to take it, they will fire you after that 1 year, or like year and 2 months, whatever it does pass. So I'll kind of see how I like it next year. And if I do get accepted into the RAD program, I will have to find a new job, just because the program is full-time, like during the day hours, and my shifts are it's 4 to 4, it's 4:45 to like basically 3:30. So it will interfere with that schedule. So, but that's until next year. But you know, I'll finish out this year, and I'm really enjoying it. I think as soon as I start getting the hang of things, the feel for things, feeling more comfortable, more confident, I think I'll do a pretty good job. But yeah, that's all I really got for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys kind of learned a little bit, or if you're just a little bit interested in this career path. It is something I didn't think, or I didn't see myself working in until I, just applied. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Comment up below if you have any questions, or just kind of like your experience, or like just your past, like just anything you feel like commenting, because I really do enjoy reading your comments. And of course, you can subscribe to see more of me. I post every other Sunday just until I finish school in May. And yeah, that's all I got, and goodbye.